Hello there and welcome to my guide for painting the Shield Troopers from Marvel Zombies. As you can see, I've undercoated them all black. Best way to do it because they are going to be mostly black. However, as you can see, they've got a tiny little bit of blue to them, so we're going to try and match the card the best we can. First thing I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to make sure all the miniatures are covered. Sometimes when you're spraying things, especially when you're spraying things in bulk, you don't cover all the surface areas, but it's not really noticeable until everything's dry. So I'm going to sort that out with some Abaddon Black. Then I'm going to dry brush all of the miniatures with some Eshin Grey. After that, to try and get that blue tint to them, I'm going to use some Drakenhof Nightshade and cover all of the miniature. If you're batch painting these guys like I am, it's best to give them at least 24 hours to dry. Once they are dry, though, we are going to start working on the white, and for that we're going to do a base coat with some grey cere. Take a look at your card to check to see where you need to paint and follow that as a guide. Then we're going to use Avalanche Sunset to paint the badges. There are two badges, one on each shoulder. There's a big badge on the back, and don't forget to paint the badge that's also on their pistol holster. Next, we're going to use some Kasandora Yellow to give all the yellow areas we've just painted a quick wash. And while that dries, we'll start working on the flesh. We'll use Catatan Flesh for the darker skinned and Bugman's Glow for the lighter skinned. And then we'll give all the skin a wash with some Whiteland Flesh shade. If you're batch painting like me, that will give the yellow wash plenty of time to dry, so we're going to go back in and use some Avalanche Sunset just to tidy things up a little bit. Now we're going to go back to the flesh, and we're going to use Blood Reaver Flesh for the first highlight on any darker skin. And for the second, we're going to use some Night Questor Flesh. For those with lighter skin, we're going to use some Cadian Flesh Tone to start painting the first highlight for that. And the second highlight, we'll use some Kislev Flesh. Now is as perfect time as ever to start working on neating up that black. So we're going to use some Abaddon Black just to fill in any gaps or neaten up any overspill that may have occurred while painting the white or the flesh and the yellow. Don't forget to make sure you sort out the shield symbol on the back as well, because you're inevitably going to go over with the yellow, so just tidy that up. And also there's a badge on their shoulder as well. It's going to be very difficult to actually get the detail in because the moulding on these guys, especially my ones, isn't that great, so I tried my best, but they will mostly end up just looking like a big bunch of black blobs. Also, while you've got the black paint out as well, you might as well finish off anybody that's actually going to have some black hair as well, so we won't have to work on those later. While we've got the black out, we'll also paint the eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a very thin paintbrush to draw some black slits where the eyes are. Then we're going to use some matte white to fill in the gaps to represent the bulk of the eye. And then we'll go back to the black and very carefully use a thin brush again just to mark out where their pupils will be. Next, we're going to start working on the hair. We're going to use some Zandari Dust to paint any blonde hair, and we're going to use Dryad Bark to paint any brown. We're then going to paint all the belt buckles on these guys with some Iron Hand Steel. And then after that, we'll wash all the hair we've just painted with some Agrax Earthshade. And the belt buckles we washed with some Nuln Oil. Next, we're going to use some Dawnstone to paint the base with, which will then get dry brushed with some grey cere. The rims will then get neatened up with some Abaddon Black, followed by some watered down Agrax Earthshade. Once that's dry, that's all the Shield Troopers finished. They're interesting models to paint. They're not the best that CMON have ever done, but they are just literally there to be devoured by your zombie heroes. As I was batch painting, it did take quite some time to get these guys done. It took round about 14 hours in total, but in the end, it's worth it because nothing beats a fully painted boxed set. I hope you found this guide useful if you did use it, and thank you so much for watching. I will be doing the next set of troopers soon, so subscribe for more. Bye for now.